Welcome to PropTech Car Talks. I'm Zeenish, your host, and today we will talk about innovating the future of PropTech with Roger Wahl from Innovo. Roger, welcome to the show, and over to you for your brief introduction and a brief background.
Hi, Zeenish. Yes, it's really awesome to be here with you today. Indeed, I'm Roger Wahl, Chief Technology Officer at Innovo Group. We're a global real estate lifecycle support company that does real estate development, does construction, does a lot of supply chain, concrete, steel, and other services across the real estate lifecycle. And I have almost 40 years of experience in the technology space, starting with the United States Air Force, General Electric, and then the last 15 years have been in the real estate lifecycle space, which is super exciting at this point. So I'm really excited to talk with you about it today.
That's fascinating. So diving into your expertise, can you talk about the digital twins and how they're changing the PropTech landscape?
Digital twins are amazing. So this concept has been around for many, many years, going all the way back to the automotive industry, as far as sensor technology that's been able to create a logical digital representation of a physical asset. And from a construction and real estate development perspective, what this means is we're gathering data all the way across the life cycle of real estate, from capital planning to design to building, and then to smart building technology. And it creates a digital representation so you can run simulations, you can design the community in the best way using the metaverse, for instance, Epic Games Unreal Engine, where we used to play games. Now this metaverse, you're putting entire communities there in a virtual way. You're running simulations, the best way for traffic to flow through a community, the best way for a building to be built, the most efficient way for a building to be built, and the logical representation, which then allows you to create that physical asset in the best way possible. So consider a digital twin improving the product through the life cycle, that asset through the life cycle at each stage. And then at the end, you have the smartest building, you have the best, most intuitive, proactive product that has been built through the life cycle using that digital representation.
No, that's really interesting. Talking about data centers, data centers are so important in today's digital age. How is Innovo innovating in that area?
Data centers are hugely important, especially with the advancement of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence creates millions of data points that need to be processed in real time. So what Innovo and Innovo Tech are doing in this space, we're working with HP, Delta, and other really innovative companies to create modular mobile data centers that are using the latest technologies. And these data centers are being used across the world for things like crypto mining, certainly AI processing. So that's a really, really big part of what they're used for. And they're able to be moved from location to location so that you can process that information in real time and correlate that information and act upon that information. So yes, data centers are what I see as one of the biggest trends in the industry, certainly in the real estate life cycle, to process information at the edge, or called edge computing. So we see a big future for data centers for sustainable purposes, for processing large amounts of data. And we're really excited as AI progresses and quantum computing is becoming will become much more mainstream. We can process information at a much faster pace, which is going to make AI much smarter. So data centers are a big part, using GPUs now, but quantum qubits in the near future, to process massive amounts of data. Data centers are going to be needed at really every location.
That's really interesting. So Innovo is also involved with several venture capital firms and startups. Can you share some of the most exciting innovations you've seen from these investments?
There's so many interesting startups happening especially in the real estate lifecycle. So as you may know, the investment wasn't there on technology in the past, but due to sustainable targets, carbon footprint reduction, there are now more AI startups in the property tech and construction tech space than financial tech or fintech. So the number of startups is amazing. We're working with several really interesting venture capital companies. Just to name a few: brick and mortar, Noah, 𝗍𝗂𝗍𝗶𝗴 Labs, but many more VC companies. And we're piloting a lot of their products under the umbrella. We're doing research and development on interesting products, but we're piloting the products under their umbrella internally with Innovo, as well as positioning them with customers across the globe. Just some interesting ones that we've seen lately. Passive Logic is a very interesting smart building technology that uses AI underpinnings and open API, so it connects to really any products within the smart building location. Across the real estate lifecycle, Trunk Tools, Document Crunch are a couple of products that we have high hopes for project collaboration. We're using products like CarbonWise for sustainability to track the sustainability lifecycle. Nodes and Links for planning software, project planning software. So we're using Contilio for a construction digital twin, where we actually use LiDAR scanners to capture data as we're building our structures. And then we compare that with AI, an AI engine. We compare what we're building to the design, the 3D design, as well as the schedule. So there are, and it's allowing us to lower our carbon footprint by 10%, up to 10%, by eliminating rework. So many of these technologies are being used. We're using them for sustainable and productive outcomes. And as I said, really the investment is there in our industry. So it's really exciting time to be here.
Yeah, speaking of sustainability, how important is the role that smart building technology plays in creating sustainable and energy efficient buildings?
It's really important, and this is why this is part of the reason why the investment is there and all the startups are in location. So sustainability outcomes and the AI-based technologies and the real estate lifecycle. As you may know, real estate valuation globally is more than global GDP plus global stocks plus global bonds. So it's a huge opportunity for us to drive sustainable outcomes. But at the same time, we're using between 30 and 40% of global resources, global energy, and creating the carbon footprint for up to 40% of the carbon footprint. So the technologies that are becoming more mainstream now are not just focused on productivity, but they're also focused on sustainable outcomes. Meaning, as we said, carbon footprint reduction by becoming more efficient in construction, offsite sustainable outcomes via different modular and mobile technologies that result in safety, surety, as well as sustainable outcomes by creating materials offsite in a more of a controlled manufacturing environment. We see concretes and steel that are more carbon friendly that are coming to the forefront. A lot of investment is in not just technologies, but in actually materials and processes too. So definitely startups and AI products across the real estate lifecycle are focused on not just tracking and measuring your carbon footprint, but reducing that carbon footprint by becoming more efficient, by actually processing data and design and capital planning, and twice the time it would normally have taken before, by making your materials more, again, sustainable, by doing the development off-site of products and modular construction, 3D printing, robotics. So we see a lot of these different technologies that are really focused on sustainable outcomes, making huge advancements as we speak.
And how is Innovo participating in the modular offsite construction method?
So I think this is really a growing area. And I think the only barrier in the past, or in the recent past, there hasn't been maybe the infrastructure there. Like for instance, in the UAE, there's not a lot of modular capability here, so it has to be imported from different locations. What we're doing at Innovo is we're working with the largest developers. As a builder, we're working with the developers across the UAE and across the globe to build that supply chain, to start to position not just pods, but actually volumetric entire components of buildings for different developments across the UAE and the globe. And we see the whole supply chain is on board with this. So the whole supply chain from our subcontractors to the developers, to the builders, to the customers, they're all saying, let's find some more sustainable outcomes. Let's use this volumetric or pod type of modular offsite construction and really leverage the manufacturing capability, which is offsite manufacturing is much more advanced with robotics and different technologies than on-site. So the whole cycle is much better, much more efficient, much more sustainable when everybody works together. And we're seeing that collaboration happening across the real estate lifecycle.
Yeah, that's, with all these exciting developments, how do you see the PropTech and ComTech industries evolving over the next decade?
I see it gaining so much momentum now that it's really exciting to think about what the future holds. Again, more startups, AI startups in our space than fintech in other locations, and such a big scale and opportunity for sustainable outcomes that we see everybody leaning into this. So how I see that moving forward is much more modular 3D printing, much more, let's say, sustainable programs and products across the real estate development lifecycle that are coming to play now, that are becoming much more mainstream. I see some products that will be connected across the lifecycle. Autodesk and other companies are acquiring and building a capability across the whole capital planning to design, to building and construction, to operate and maintain technologies that are connected across the lifecycle. So I think that's what's coming up soon, is connected technologies across the whole real estate lifecycle is the next future. And I really am excited about the not just AI, but how all the products like IoT, quantum fit together to, supercharge the results of AI in our industry. So we're seeing the collaboration across the life cycle that's happening also like never before, where everybody's working together and investing in these technologies. And we're seeing them really, there's an appetite for delivering these technologies, especially across the GCC, but we see it happening globally even. So the future is very bright as far as how we're all working together to add significant value to our companies, our customers, our communities, and the planet from a sustainability and an efficiency perspective.
We're quite excited about the future. Talking about significance, lastly, this would be my last question to you, which is, what do you think about the significance of events like the London PropTech show for the industry?
They're absolutely essential. So these networking events are not just about looking at what the latest technologies and trends are, but it's about connecting with people, connecting with professionals. And London PropTech is amazing. I've gone to the last couple of them and spoken at them. And this is where you really can co-create ideas, where you can understand how to collaborate. You have everybody there, from operators and owners of structures to developers to builders to technology companies. You would never get together and really learn the latest trends and collaborate and improve unless you've had events like this. So I think they're absolutely essential to bring everybody on the same page so we can co-collaborate and work together, again, towards a brighter future, because the opportunity is immense in our space and we're just now starting to gain traction. These events supercharge us. These events get different collaborators together that wouldn't come together in different circumstances. And this one in London, it really captures the entire globe. London is a central point for the United States, for Europe, for the GCC, even for Asia Pacific. We see all of the players who are there. So I'm really excited for the event this year, as it was last year, to be there and really co-collaborate.
Yeah, I hope to see you there, Roger. Thank you, Roger, for joining us today. It has been a great conversation with you. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more episodes.